Hi, this is Miss Sebastian, and we're going to look at Unit 2, Measurement, Lesson 8, Volumes of Pyramids and Cones. The first type of question you may see is find the lateral area of a cone with a radius of 6 foot and a slant height of 12 foot. Use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest tenth. So the lateral area, or LA, is equal to pi r times L. L is the slant height. So all we're going to do is plug in these amounts. So 3.14 times the radius they give us, which is 6, times the slant height, which is 12. And we're going to multiply those out. And we get 3.14 times 6 times 12, or 72. And you get that the lateral area of this one is 226.08, and they want it to round it to the nearest tenth. So we underline the tenth spot, look to the right. If that is 5 or more, we're going to round it up. 4 or less, let it rest. Okay, so that 8 is big enough to round it up to 1, and that would be feet squared because it's area. Find the surface area of a square pyramid with a base length of 22 centimeters and a height of 14 centimeters. So you're looking at a pyramid. I know that you guys so love my drawings. Okay, decent pyramid, but not great. Okay, so you've got a pyramid. The base down here, the square, is 22 centimeters by 22 centimeters. Okay, then you've got 4 triangles that are the same on top. So I've got a triangle that's 22, and then I've got a height in the middle that's 14. Now, that height in the middle doesn't tell us what the height of the triangle is. So we're going to have to do some work to find that. The reason that is because it shows us the height in the middle. We need to figure out what that triangle is. And what that is from the height across the bottom and then slanted with the side. So we know that this side is 14. The part that is part of the base across through there, that is half the length of that square. So half of 22 is 11. And we're going to find out what that hypotenuse is using that Pythagorean theorem. So we've got 11 squared plus 14 squared equals something else squared. So 11 squared is 121. 14 squared is 196. Then we add those together, and we get 317. So now, to get rid of that squared, we have to take the square root of both. So that would be, I'm going to just take the square root of 317 just to get us a roundabout number. So the square root of 317 is about 17.8. So now I can figure out the surface area, or the amount of area it would take to cover this pyramid with some wrapping paper or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to find the area of the base, which is the square, by saying 22 times 22. And that is 484 centimeters squared. Now I'm going to go up and I'm going to look at my triangle. And I know that the area of my triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 17.8 times 22. And I get that each triangle is 195 8/10 centimeters squared. Now, go back to look at our initial pyramid. Let me erase some of this. There we go. So that it's a little easier to look at. We have this triangle. We've got the back triangle. We've got this side. And we've got the front. So we have 4 of these. So we're going to say 4 times 195.8. And we get 783.2. And we're going to add that to the 484 from the square. And that will tell us the total number of centimeters squared of wrapping paper or paint or whatever you want to do to cover this entire square pyramid. So it would take 1,267 2/10 to cover that entire pyramid. Now we're going to find the surface area of the cylinder. So the surface area of the cylinder, you've got 2 bases that are circles. So we're going to find the area of those circles. The area of a circle, we've got 2 of these, so I'm going to put a big 2 in there, is pi r squared. We're going to use 3.14 for pi. And then times the radius, which is 3. Then the radius, which is 3. So I'm going to say 3.14 times 3 times 3. And that tells me the area of one circle is 28.26. And these are inches squared. And I have 2 of them. I'm going to go ahead and do that. When I multiply that by 2, I do get 56. And 52/100 inches squared. So that covers the top and the bottom. Now we got to find this big piece that covers the whole side. So it wraps from here all the way around and back around to there. So this big rectangle is 10 inches high, but it has to go all the way around the circumference of that circle. Now, we know the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. So we could find that. We go 2 times pi, and then they gave us our radius of 3. If I multiply that out, 2 times 3.14 times 3, I do get 18.84, and that is inches. That tells me that that's that side of the rectangle. So then all I have to do is multiply by 10 to get the area of the rectangle. Because remember, the area of a rectangle is length times width. And then I need to add all these together. So I've got 56.52 plus 188.4. And I do get 244.92. So I'm just going to write 9 because they usually want us to round to the 10th. And that is inches squared. So that's how you find the surface area of that cylinder. Now, volume of the cylinder is much easier. To find the volume of a cylinder, all you're going to do is say V equals pi r squared times the height. So volume equals 3.14 r squared, that's the radius, so 3 times 3 times the height. So 3.14 times 3 times. Find the volume of a rectangular prism with the following dimensions. So a rectangular prism, the volume is length times width or base times the height. So all you're going to do is multiply these together. So 5 times 7 times 3. And you find the volume of this rectangular prism is 105 millimeters cubed. Find the volume of the given pyramid. So this is a square pyramid. So all we have to do is say volume equals 1/3, because anytime you find the volume of a pyramid or a cone, you multiply by 1/3 times length times width times height. So we're going to rewrite it 1/3 times the length times the width times the height. So length and width, it doesn't matter what order, and then the height is 3. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, times 1/3 is 4. So this is 4. Find the volume of a square pyramid with a base length of 10 and a height of 3 centimeters. So this one is the same way. V equals 1/3 times the length, which is 10. Now this is a square pyramid, so the length and width are the same. So make sure to put in that other 10, and the height is 3. So 10 times 10 is 100, times 3 is 300, times 1/3 is 100. So that would be 100 centimeters cubed. Find the volume of the given cone. So we know the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times the height. With a cone, you have to add in that 1/3 because it does not fill up as much of the volume as a cylinder does. So I'm going to rewrite it 1/3 times 3.14 times the radius squared, which means times itself, and then times the height. So I'm going to type this in, 3.14 times 7 times 18. And then I'm going to multiply by 1/3 or divide by 3, same thing. And I do get the volume is 923.16 or 923.2. And that will be, since it doesn't give us the units, I'll just put units cubed. Find the volume of a cone with a radius of 12 millimeters and a height of 5. So it's 1/3 pi r squared times the height. They said the radius was 12. So I'm going to say 12 times 12 times the height is 5. So 3.14 times 12 times 12 times 5. And then multiply by 1/3. And that is 753.6 millimeters cubed.